Hi everybody. In this video, I'll explain why you should be interested in submitting data to the HIG MSI through the MSI Contributor. Our vision for the future is a common language around material sustainability that will reduce redundant data requests of material vendors, be critical for future product labeling efforts, and reduce significant industry impact. We believe that this common language can be used and scaled throughout the industry and inform companies of material production impacts. Before the HIG MSI, a common language around material sustainability didn't exist, which meant that environmental impacts of materials couldn't be compared or interpreted in a consistent way. Brands were getting pressure to communicate the environmental impacts of their products. To understand those impacts, they needed to gather extensive data from manufacturers. Manufacturers could get frustrated by these time-intensive data requests from various parties. Once brands have that data, calculating impacts through LCA, or life cycle assessment, is an extremely intensive study. And unless every LCA uses the same methodology, the results aren't comparable of those to other products. This data collection, assessments, interpretations, and analysis is difficult for all parties involved, but seems to be getting more and more necessary with pressures from stakeholders, competition, and government regulations. The SAC is addressing this issue by collecting data from the industry for the industry. Not only is it collecting data, but it's running environmental assessments of this data so that you don't have to. This work was unprecedented, but leaders in the industry worked over several years to determine how it can best work for this industry. This affects material vendors by reducing the amount of data demands and differentiating your materials for the industry. This affects brands, academic institutions, and really all other types of organizations because it provides access to a large amount of relevant data that can give you insights about how to reduce the impacts of your products. The HIG Material Sustainability Index, or HIG MSI, is a cradle-to-gate index using a life cycle assessment approach to engage design teams and the global supply chain of the apparel and footwear products in environmental sustainability. Cradle to gate means from raw material production or extraction to a finished material that's ready to be assembled into a product. The HIG MSI was originally developed by Nike in 2012, and it was adapted by the Sustainable Apparel Coalition and incorporated into the HIG Index. Over the years, SAC has been working to mature this index into a tool that can provide value for the whole industry. So why should you be interested in contributing data to the HIG MSI? If you are a manufacturer, you can find value in contributing data. Instead of different brands, retailers, or other stakeholders asking you for a lot of detailed information, they could go directly to the HIG MSI to see sustainability results for your material production. If you produce a sustainable material and you can show that in the MSI and have your sustainability efforts publicly recognized. Also, understanding impacts of your material production through data is very time-consuming and expensive. Instead of conducting those assessments yourself, SAC and our technology partner HIGCO will do it for you for a fraction of the cost in a way that is consistent with other materials, so it's easy to compare results. You can be confident that the creation of a HIG MSI score from your data uses a methodology that is scientifically sound. SAC used expertise of its members as well as third-party lifecycle assessment experts to determine a methodology that produces meaningful results for the intended users. The intended users are often product designers or developers who need a single score to make quick decisions about materials to use in their products. SAC also kept manufacturers' names in mind for data submission by allowing them to submit data that they have available for specific production stages within their control. In addition, all data submitted goes through a thorough review process to make sure that the data is correct and high quality. The outcome is an MSI that is third-party verified and uses a credible approach. Sometimes HIG users want to compare basic materials, like a generic cotton to a generic polyester, or others may want to compare more specific materials, like a conventional woven dyed cotton fabric without a finish to an organic knitted cotton with a water repellent finish. The HIG MSI allows users to customize materials based on what processes or specifications are available in MSI. Data submissions for individual processes allows for this materials customization and enables directional guidance for reducing material impacts. The MSI Contributor is where anyone may submit material production data to be reviewed and used in HIG product tools like the HIG MSI. So, are you a material vendor who wants to show the industry your material that is more sustainable? Or has anyone here completed a material lifecycle assessment and wants that information to be widespread? Are you a raw material manufacturer who has data on common farming practices? This is a tool you can leverage to share your information and encourage the value chain to use that information in decision-making of materials and understanding material impacts. One of the pathways in which data is used is in the HIG MSI. This tool is meant to provide transparency to MSI scores and methodology. If you're an academic, a sustainability expert, or even on a design team, this tool can open your eyes to a variety of material impacts. You can leverage the information in different ways to get a clear understanding of what is causing different types of material impacts and different production processes that can be used to reduce those impacts. And this is what the HIG MSI looks like. The material categories included in the MSI are shown on the left. The selected category is textiles, which are shown in the library. You can see the default production processes used to generate a score for these textiles. In the MSI, a lower score is better. You can think the lower the score, the lower the impact, and these colored bars can help you remember that. You can see the breakdown of the MSI score by impact, and even sort by those impacts if you're specifically interested in water scarcity, eutrophication, global warming potential, chemistry, or resource depletion of fossil fuels. It's also in this tool where you can swap in and out different specific production processes for a material and get a more accurate score. This list can grow to include more and more options and scores of different types of cellulosic fibers. And you can swap in and out those different options to be more representative of the material that you're actually interested in. Since the HIG MSI is a cradle to gate index, it doesn't consider all impacts from material use, like laundry, or durability or recyclability at the end of its life. However, there are other tools like the HIG product module that leverages the HIG MSI directly. The HIG product module is a product tool meant to consistently calculate the environmental impacts of products throughout their life cycle. The value of these tools are that the HIG MSI provides a scalable way to understand material vendor production efforts. Using this scoring system, companies can make more informed and better decisions around materials and product development. They can also use the MSI as a common language to assess innovations and give them a competitive edge. Learn more about the HIG MSI, how to submit data, and what happens to your data under the Learn More section of this banner.